Welcome to The Old World Lives, a Warhammer Fantasy Battles podcast. You can find us on Facebook at The Old World Lives, on Instagram at The Old World Lives, and you can reach us by email at theoldworldlives@gmail.com. And now, on to the episode. Hello and welcome to episode 40 of The Old World Lives, a Warhammer podcast. I'm Chris and I'm welcoming you to the first podcast of 2022, which we're hoping it's not just 2022. And with me tonight, I have Niklas.
Hello. Well, I guess it's 2023 this year.
Yeah, 2020 hasn't really ended yet, has it?
Yeah. It's been basically 1 year. I can't remember anything that's happened in these last 2 years. It's just more of the same.
Well, you moved back to Sweden.
Yeah.
That's quite a big step.
Yeah, that is true. Really nice to be back. I think we already discussed that. But yeah, it's just annoying as usual. Wintertime brings more COVID, and you have to scale back all your plans to play Warhammer.
Or all your plans in general, it seems.
Yeah, but the important thing is the Warhammer bit, which is really annoying.
Yeah, we'll see. My partner's caught COVID, but she's having a mild strain, it seems. Hopefully, knock on wood, so to speak. Well, that's settled on that, but yeah, it's good that she's vaccinated, otherwise she might have been really ill. We don't know.
Yeah, it seems not that bad nowadays, but people come here to escape news of COVID, I think, so yeah. Let's get on with the good shit.
Oh, so we're not doing the COVID lockdown special? Oh, wait, no, we're not. Joke aside, we're not. We're gonna move on and talk about something more interesting, like... what's your current hobby progress, Niklas?
So, I've committed Ultimate Heresy, and I actually bought some Tau. Gross, I know. I had this...
It could have been worse.
Yeah.
It could have been War Machine.
Idoneth, Deepkin or something. Or High Elves. Gross. But yeah, I had this thing for Tau for quite a long time. Since basically Imperial Armor 3, which is a great campaign book.
Oh yeah, it is.
So I went to this game store, just wanted to buy some black spray, honestly, and some paints. They didn't have black spray, so I had to get something because it was in the town next over. So I bought myself a box of Tau Pathfinders, which I thought would be a nice little project to paint up. Maybe use in a new kill team or something. So
if nothing else, it's a good break and painting something else.
Yes, which it was. It was really good because I hadn't painted much in a while. I painted some Dark Hills actually. I painted 2 more Dark Riders, the command models, and a Noble on Dark Steed to finish that unit off.
You should post those on Instagram if you haven't.
Yes, yeah, I should. Got him over there on the other side of my room. But yeah, so I painted those, but then I couldn't really get in the mood to paint some more Dark Elves. But then I bought these Pathfinders, and I was like, oh, it's so cool. I'll assemble them straight away, and I'll start painting them, which is nice. Haven't felt that way about some models in a while. So I painted a couple of them, and then I was chatting with the guys. Because I painted my Historians last fall or something. And I was chatting with some guys about playing 40k. But then nothing really happened with that. But then I chatted with those guys again about Tau. And then they were like, well, where are your Historians? And then I thought, yeah, I guess I should finish the Historians before I go headlong against after Tau. So now I started painting some Historians again.
And they look pretty cool, actually. It's a nice project you've done there.
Yeah, the models are really really nice to paint. You've got so much detail and nice big areas that you can paint just they'll look good. The Tau were way harder because they don't have as many details. They're big flat surfaces of 2 areas to paint. So there's a lot freer what to do with those areas. So the Historians are just, they have their armor and their clothes, but then they also have super fancy guns and big mustaches and feathers and shit that just makes everything else look good.
Yeah.
And I also noticed painting the town that might sound really elitist and purist, but it's so much better painting metal and resin than painting plastic. I haven't painted plastic in a while, and it's such a big difference.
Yeah, there's quite a big difference between the different materials, even though you when you look at it, you really shouldn't think that there's a difference, but there is. And a metal model is always nicer. That's just how it is.
Yeah. It's also weird, like when you're used to painting metal models for a while, just the way the different techniques change completely. Like dry brushing on a plastic model and a metal model is completely different.
Yeah, and if you dry brush a resin model that's been badly cast, you risk removing detail.
Yeah.
If you're dry brushing too vigorously.
Yeah. So it's nice though. It really got me going painting again. So, and I'm having like a fantasy play date in like 2 weeks. So I need to paint up some more Dark Elves till then. But now, like, I got the hobby mojo going, so should be able to get that done. So,
Nice.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I ended last year with painting up that little. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for yet, but the endless spell from one of the expansions for Age of Sigmar, which is perfect on a square base, and got a lovely boat made out of skulls with some ghost skulls and a giant skeleton that's way bigger than anything else I've seen in the range. So it's probably not even a actual skeleton. It might be just a bone construct of some sort. But with that, I also modeled up the vampire, combining the limited edition vampire with Neferata bits from the mortar kit. And that started off an entire downward spiral into the undead.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Just one model. It'll be a fun project. And then there you are, one army later.
Yeah, that's kind of how it seems now. I'm working on... I've built an entire regiment of skeleton warriors out of the... let's see if I can get this correctly now. I think it's the Death Rattle skeletons from Age of Sigmar.
Is that the from Curse City?
Well, they share the same look with Curse City, yes. These are the separate ones that were released.
Speaking of Curse City, did they re-release that yet, or?
It's I think it's like a 2022 asterisk release on that one.
Right, so they will actually release the game.
Hopefully.
That it was supposed to be like a mainstay thing, right? Or whatever they call it. It's supposed to be available.
Yeah, it was supposed to be as available as the Blackstone Fortress has been.
Yeah.
With limited release expansions. So that's just like, because the main box has been available almost ongoing since it was released, the Black Fortress one, but the expansions has been removed after they've sold out. Yeah. Oh yeah, they are actually called Death Rattle Skeletons, and they're really lovely. They're flimsy. They're ridiculously flimsy. You can look at the model and it breaks.
Yeah.
I know I've sent some photos in the group, in the podcast group chat, and it's you just look at just trying to remove the leg part, and just held it a snap, and you have removed 2/3 of the leg part from the sprue, and one of the legs are left because they are less than a millimeter thick, the legs, and some of the other bones are as flimsy as that. So I'm glad I'm actually glad they're plastic and not metal. If they'd been metal, it'd be horrible.
What would be the best way to remove them, though? Like a teeny tiny saw?
I have no idea. I'm just trying to be really careful.
What are you using, clippers or a knife or what?
I've actually had great success with a regular pair of clippers that got a flat back, so to speak. Right. So, and you really have to fixate the the part you're clipping, so it's not the tension in the model isn't released too fast, because then it would snap. And I've had a fair few of them snap. Some weapons have been snapping, and it's lovely because they're almost too thin to pin. They can be pinned. I've had to pin some of them, but thankfully it's plastic, so you can just use some plastic glue and they just melt right into the piece they're supposed to fit to anyway.
Yeah.
Other than those, I've also built a unit of Black Knights, and I'm using the regular plastic Black Knight models with the bits from the Death Rattle skeleton kit to make them match in the... because they fit perfectly. They are actually scaled better than the original heads for the Black Knights.
So yeah, they look great. You sent some pictures to us, but is it just like the torso do you put on there, or?
I'm actually not even putting on the torso, it's just the arms and heads.
Oh wow!
So as I said, they scale really well, the heads, with those kits. And well, I also built some bits. There will be photos on this when on the Instagram when the episode is released, because these are my build for the monthly challenge anyway. The new year, new army kind of deal we did this year as well.
Yeah, and I'm so terrible with these challenges. Sometimes I just like paint up loads of stuff, and sometimes I don't paint at all. But whatever the situation is, I never paint whatever we're like challenging people to do.
Yeah, but it's fun to run the challenges, and we are really grateful for those that actually do participate.
Yeah, that's like it's so awesome with the challenges, because I don't really engage with them, but people do engage with them, and it's super awesome to see people paint stuff and posting it on Instagram.
Yeah, and I know that we've been a bit lax in doing updates on the podcast, and that will hopefully continue this year. Well, not the lax part, obviously. That was a bit of a mistake, but not the lax part. But the updates will continue. We'll be trying to focus more on them, because as we always said, we hope that we might release more episodes this year than we did last year.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, we're getting closer to the eventual release of the Old World, and so maybe they'll actually start dropping some like bigger updates this year.
Ooh, let's hope so. It would be nice to know a bit more of the timeline, and because we are pretty sure when the timeline is, but what they're actually planning to do with the setting. That's that kind of timeline.
Yeah, who the big baddie's gonna be and such things.
Yep. I think we all are quite just biding our time at this point, wanting to hear more, and having a pandemic to contend with when it comes to playing games. I know I mentioned it again. I wasn't supposed to, but it is the big dampener on everything, especially here in Sweden at the moment. But yeah.
And we're having the release of Warhammer Total War soon.
Oh yeah, in about 3 weeks, right?
Yeah. I pre-booked it a couple of weeks ago, and it's like the first game that I've pre-bought in many, many years. So I'm actually really excited for this.
Yeah, I've already done the same. It's been installed on my computer for a while now, just waiting for that little confirmation code that it's been released so I can start playing.
Yeah. the football. Someone in was it Sega doing it? Is it still Sega that does Total War games?
It's Creative Assembly, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they're owned by Sega, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's just some guy in a suit at Sega with like a briefcase handcuffed to his arm, just waiting for the signal.
Yeah. Or that scene in Gladiator when Commodus is just putting his thumbs up and slowly turning it down. Which would actually be the save sim. And anyway, I know that there's been this week, because the embargo has been lifted for some YouTube streamers, and there's been quite a lot of videos of Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh shit, I need to watch that.
I think I linked one in the group chat the other day, but that is quite unnecessary for everyone except us to know, actually. But I know that the Miniature Nerd has been doing, because he's a big fan of the Total War Warhammer series of games, and the Total War in general. So he has a starter video, which is like 40 minutes of him playing Cathay. and explaining what the different units do and the unique faction abilities. And then he did like a 4.5 hour live stream
Nice.
of a
Did
different
he?
game.
I don't know if Dave announced this or if he said this, but like, how does the campaign work now? Do you have like the whole world in one campaign?
I'm not sure they have been releasing the entire games even for the streamers, or there are embargoes. I haven't seen the live stream. I've only seen parts of the Cathay stream that he's done so far.
All right.
But they have done a fair few updates on the campaign system and sieges and everything on both Warhammer community and the Total War blog.
Yeah.
Speaking
Now,
of Total War, there was a big announcement the other day, like 4 days ago, where you could build your own demon prince to bring a personal touch to the end times in Total War Warhammer 3.
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Reminds me of the like the build your Empire General thing they had on their website many years ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are people that has been born and went into retirement in the between that was released and now.
But yeah, that's really cool. Like you can build your own guy, not just have a randomized leader.
Yeah, and instead of just making up a character demon, they've just given us the tools to make our own, which is really cool. So I'm hoping that they are actually been able to do a few different versions that are equally usable and not just having one build that is the only one that you should go for. Otherwise, they're useless.
Yeah, well, they must be able to take different marks as well, right? You can build Demon Prince of Nurgle or something like that, right?
What can you tell us about the Legions of Chaos faction that the Demon Prince leads? And that's from Andy Hall says the Legions of Chaos faction is our the interpretation of the 8th edition Demon's Army book. Unlike the other demonic factions in the game, the roster can have units from all 4 rosters and even gain mechanics used by those god-specific factions. So you're pretty much just building an army of chaos undivided.
So what will be your first playthrough on the new game?
I'm probably going to try out Cathay or Kislev.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, isn't it obvious?
Nurgle?
It's going to be a lot of fun finally being able to play Kislev the way they should be. Not sure. They'll probably have different sub-factions of it, though. Not sure which one I would play. Because the fluff of my guys is that they're from Erengrad. I might play that if it's a separate faction. With that crazy Church of Ulrich guy. Or not Ulrich, Urson.
It would be quite cool, and if they were able to have mercs as well. Given that it's one of the biggest mercenary cities in the old world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm mainly interested in Cathay, given that it's entirely new.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice just to explore it, right?
Yeah, and they have a quite nice the small things that I actually have seen in live streams, that you are pretty much just retaking and reinforcing the Great Wall that's dividing everything. Dividing the Cathay from the Chaos Wastes.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Oh, painting gold now. Bit of a pain. Got this Vallejo, actually it's Vallejo brass.
I'm guessing it's less of a pain than me trying to sort a cavalry axe out of a halberd for my Black Knight champion, and pretty much looking at it and then it just snaps. So, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah,
what are you using the Vallejo color for? Is it like weapon casings or?
Many things. Weapon casings, buttons on your jackets, like belt buckles, and a lot of detail. It's going to be gold and look like fancy Russian soldiers.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like Space Kosovites, keeping that Russian theme.
Yep, they sure do. Some of those models, those Trojan models, are some of the best Games Workshop have ever produced.
Yeah, but speaking of fantasy models that I need to paint on, as I said, I'm gonna play some fantasy in 2 weeks' time. Some guys are coming from all over the region to play fantasy. So before that, we played 500 points with these relatively new guys we started playing with, and now we decided to escalate to 1,000 points. So for my Dark Elves, I used to have a unit of the Corsairs, a Sorceress, 5 Shades, and 5 Dark Riders, and that was my 500 point army. So now I am adding another Sorceress, 2 more Dark Riders, Banner and a Musician, and a Noble on a Dark Steed. So that will be like a unit of 8 Light Cavalry.
Nice.
And I'm also adding a Repeater Bolt Thrower and 5 Cold One Knights. And that's 1,000 points.
That sounds like an interesting list. So you have gone past like skirmish levels then and just playing regular small-sized games, right?
Yeah, the regular organization and unit sizes and stuff. Yeah, it was a bit of a pain when we played the 500 points combat patrol, because I think there was a limit that a single model can only cost 135 or something. So I couldn't upgrade my sorceress to level 2 because she was like 140, while the other guys could upgrade their sorcerers to level 2. But now I'm gonna have my revenge or my vengeance by having 2 sources at level 2.
They should just be glad that you're not playing 8th, so you could have what are called the warlocks, the alternate for the new dark riders. Because they are a spellcasting unit.
Yeah, we should just be lucky that we're not playing 8. Period.
Fair enough.
So
what are the other guys playing?
We have a dwarf player. And we have at least one Empire player. We might have 2 this time. And what are the other guys playing? This is annoying because they have several factions, and I can't remember which one they're bringing. But 1 or 2 Wood Elf players as well. And
fun.
Might be a Chaos Dwarf, or he might play Beastmen. I'm not sure. Yeah, the Wood Elves, I'm gonna have to just throw magic at them until they disappear.
They are playing with the army book, then I take it.
Yeah. Yep. Last time, at least one of them had loads of dryads as well. We're just gonna, if there's 2 of them, we're just gonna have to have them play each other. Just have a Wood Elf Civil War or something.
Yeah, but that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's like a good amount of guys in this small town. I'm glad we got something started. I haven't played like anything with them since before Christmas, but
yeah, but holidays and everything.
Yeah,
it has a tendency to have you prioritize other things than hanging out and playing games. Sadly.
Yeah. Speaking of holidays, though, and playing games, I didn't manage to get a game in with Jimmy when I was up to see my family.
Ooh.
Actually, 2 games. So we found a scenario from what's it called? The Crown? The Nemesis Crown?
Yeah, for the 7th ed campaign book from White Dwarf.
So we were playing a game and then saying like, oh, let's play a scenario. And then I was just going through this book. It was just laying there and oh, this is a cool scenario. Which was like War Council, which is called. Where one side starts like in the middle of the board with all of their lords and heroes and a single unit from their elites, and then the enemy is trying to attack it, and then the defenders' reinforcements come in from like a road in the middle of the board, like either end of it, which was a really cool looking scenario. And then Jimmy asked me what faction he should play because he has Skaven, Greenskins, and Chaos. So I said, oh, play Skaven. It'll be nice and thematic against dwarves. And his Skaven just annihilated me. It was terrible.
They tend to do that. His Skavens tend to do that.
It was like playing a 40k army. It's just so much shooting and magic and he's just rolling dice against me, and then I was just removing models.
So you're also one of the ones that has PTSD from Vermintide then, when you cast that one.
The worst thing about Vermintide was that he cast it and then it hit like my Iron Breakers didn't really matter that much. He hit something else that didn't matter, but then he hit like my Slayers, my lone Slayers, like the Slayer heroes, and they, since they're like their own unit, they also take like 2d6 hits.
Yep.
Just crazy.
We had, I know for listeners that have listen along, both me and Krell has a bit of flashbacks every time someone mentions Skavens and Vermintide to our little three-way game in Stockholm way back when we had basically started the podcast. And Jimmy had some kind of skittle-leaping wizard, because we were playing a campaign game at that point, so you could tool up your heroes a bit more than just a regular points limit. And he's landed behind the lines through Vermintide, jumped away through a Vermintide, jumped away through a Vermintide, and it was like having, as I said, playing a bit 40k with a librarian with a jump pack and with superpowers.
Yeah. So I was pretty devastated from that game, and then we also played another game where he played his Chaos, and we just played like a regular game. We rolled the mission or rolled the deployment and stuff from the rulebook. It was a much more even game. He still won that game, but it felt like we were actually playing, and I wasn't just standing there just taking dice and removing models.
Yeah, that sounds a bit more fun. And there's a good shout as well to use the campaign books as inspiration, even no matter what edition they're for.
Yeah,
they can be adapted to any edition, pretty much.
Yeah, there's lots of good missions in the 8th edition rulebook as well.
Yeah, they got a lovely like coastal raid scenario, which is quite fun. We have one side of the is playing an invading force that just have like landing ships.
There's also that scenario with the flags, or like where you have to break the enemy army by capturing their flags.
Yeah. Speaking of campaigns, I was thinking about this when you mentioned yours that you're going to play in a few weeks. We are planning to relaunch our intra-podcast league now that everyone's living in Sweden, and we hopefully will be able to get some games together. For some reason, we never do, even in good times. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, now you got a driver's license as well. Free to go wherever you want. Yeah, we need to set up a play date at some point.
Yeah, I reckon I should just get some of these undead painted, and then should be good to go. But have you thought anything about what you're using for that campaign?
I guess Dark Elves, just so that I'll have a goal to paint stuff.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And we're going to use the Border Princess campaign rules from the 6th ed rulebook for anyone that's interested, just as before. And we actually have had some territories rolled up so far.
I need to write down what I got.
You got a village and a sacred grove. And the village is a village is an additional special unit, and a grove is for each sacred grove you control, your army may include one extra rare unit.
Can it be a war machine, or do you have to have like a forest for that?
It doesn't. It just says rare unit.
I think there's some kind of limit though. Like you can only have one war machine.
Yeah, I think so, because forest says if you control a forest, your army has sufficient supplies of wood to build 2 extra war machines. But if you really want a forest, you could just take one for your option.
I think I should get a river or something though. Like how did the Dark Elves get there? To have a river to paddle there.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's not gamey either, because you could just game it and say, "Oh, I want a wizard tower. So you can have an extra wizard, or like a temple. I can have an extra wizard lord."
Yeah, I think a river would be good. I think a river just gives you extra points as well.
Yeah, 25 points extra.
Yeah,
which is good. It helps out with all of those odd choices if you want to have shields or upgrades on a unit, more or less.
Yeah.
I have a wizard tower and a village, and the wizard tower is an extra wizard. That's it.
Nice.
Otherwise, you can't take more than one character with, other than your You have your starting character and no more. But that can be whatever you want. So if you want to take a Lord on a Black Dragon, just have 2 units of Spearmen, you could, if you want to.
Yeah. I do have my my Lord on Black Dragon standing in front of me.
I'm just saying that wouldn't probably be a good option if anyone else takes like a Dragon Killer character.
Let them try. No, I'm not going to take my Black Dragon. I should. I did put him on a base recently, though. A friend of mine 3D printed a 75 by 75 base.
Ooh, nice. So that fits the bottom of the miniature without cutting it, right?
Yeah.
Nice. How are you going to count that as, say, 50 by 50?
No, probably just going to play it as is. If someone really objects against it, then I'll just say that, all right, then just count it as 50 by 50. But I don't think people will complain.
Well, technically, you can get a few more hits or hits in on more models in a close combat if you charge them. But on the other hand, your footprint of your miniature is way bigger if you want to hit it with spells, stuff like that.
Yeah, only benefit I would guess get like half an inch extra on the terror test. But I won't be able to fly further in the first turn or anything. I don't know.
But on the other hand, that's quite easy to just discount that little extra when you're measuring the terror test anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's only a problem if anyone wants to make it a problem, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. I mean, you should put the model like on a base that fits the model. It's just ridiculous that if you try to fit it on a 50 by 50 base, and it will like fall over every time you put it down.
Yeah, it wouldn't stay upright. Not that big model. And maybe we should mention it's the Carmine Dragon we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise, people might have problem. Imagine which dragon we're talking about.
Just a Black Dragon fits on a 50 by 50 base.
Yeah, but the best part is when they were released, the metal dragons that were sold at the beginning of 6th Ed, they came with a 40 mil base.
Yeah.
And they don't really even fit on a 50 because the claws are always hanging outside of the base for that. But yeah, they should have released more size of base for large monsters like that.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that they stuck to those small bases for dragons in general.
Yeah, especially since you have the cavalry bases, and then you have the base that technically you could put down under a hell cannon from later on. So it would be doable. Hell cannon used to eat units anyway.
Yeah, I think like when hell cannon came out in 6th edition, though, they didn't even have a base.
Not the first one. I think no artillery pieces came with the bases at that point.
Is it an artillery piece though, or a hungry demon?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I've yet to play with mine though. A guy borrowed it at the 6th edition tournament and did some crazy things, but I haven't used it yet myself. But the rules in 6th edition are just awesome.
Well, the rules for 6th edition for the hell cannon is an essay.
Yeah.
It's the only one that comes even close is the Goblin Hewer. I have to read through whatever all of that does.
Yeah.
And the hell cannon rules are like 3 times as long. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm thinking of doing, because I know that last episode I mentioned the Lamia, the Neferata conversion, and the start of a new army. That will probably go into a separate project because I'm probably for our little campaign doing a Blood Dragon force.
Yeah, just because those sweet riders.
Yeah, I got those Blood Riders, or Blood Knights, I think they're called, from Age of Sigmar. They're quite a bit of well, they're quite chunky, those models, so they will have to be adapted a bit. But you had to do that same thing with the cloaks or the horse coverings for the Chaos Knights, right?
Yeah, just had to trim the flaps. They were just a bit too expressive. Is that the word I'm looking for? Dynamic. They're too dynamic.
Yeah, too dynamic because they are when put on a proper cavalry base, like the 25 by 50 base, they are almost 32 wide on the widest point, and that's a bit of a problem if you want to rank them up.
Yeah. Are they postable or like mono posts?
They are like most Age of Sigmar models. You can post them a bit. Some of them have alternate weapons. There are different heads, but that's about it.
Yeah, the Chaos Knights were pretty much mono posts.
Yeah.
I did change some weapons on those. Just took the original Chaos Warrior weapons.
Yeah. For the these ones, these are of the same type as the Luminate, and I'm not sure of the KSR, but you pretty much have to insert the torso into the horse body when you're assembling them.
Yeah.
So there are no separate torsos.
His left shoulder is connected to his right toe.
Yeah, that's the usual problem.
that was like the way the Chaos Lord on the Lizard was made.
Yeah.
It was like crazy, like how the different pieces were connected. It's really clever though, because like all the lines, like where you connect the different pieces, are hidden, like through where the cracks in the armor would have been anyway, or like through their armpit and places where you won't see them.
Yeah, I built quite a few, both of the Stormcast and the Oryx from the Dominion box. Gorgeous models, all of them, especially the Oryx. And they are all like that. Pretty much, yeah, you put it on this part of the torso or of the chest, and it also has a piece of the leg and a foot on it. And there's connections that goes inside a model, so to speak.
Yeah, you cannot be impressed by the way Games Workshop makes their miniatures. And I was thinking about that, like when I was building those Chaos guys. Like they're gonna keep ahead of the whole 3D print industry, because I mean the value you get from those models, how good they look, still gonna be worth getting them. They're still gonna look better than anything you can print yourself, probably.
Well, at least on a cheap printer.
Yeah. I mean, even really high-end printers still have some stuff left. You need to file away, I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking there will come a point, and I'm not sure how soon it will be, when there won't really be any distinguishing between a printed and a assembled model. And I think a lot of models that are printed are gorgeous as it is. But I don't really have a printer, and I don't really know people with good printers, or so.
Yeah, I saw some really good Kissa models that someone made, or saw
the undead ones.
The 3D models of them, at least. No, not undead. I linked it to you guys earlier this month, I think. They basically had like all the units from Kissa that's in the lore, the Streltsy and the Ice Witches and stuff.
Ooh.
Should be great, but like you never know as well, because you see the 3D models, but you don't see them printed, so they could end up looking just like they do in the pictures, or totally different. You just never know.
I'm just having a bit of a image in my head when it just says that they won't print the model because you're out of cyan.
Out of what?
Cyan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a bit of printer humor for anyone if they wondering what that was a feeble attempt to do. Yeah, but I'm thinking a 3D printer would be great for terrain pieces and upgrade pieces for me.
Yeah, it would be nice to go on some point in the future.
Yeah, it's just having the money to buy a printer and having the place to put a printer. That's not inside a room where you sit all the time.
Yeah.
I must admit, I might have been being. What is wrong with my words? Might be building an army list at the moment.
A vampire one?
Yep, because I realized that how many knights I need, because I have to put them in a lance formation, because of course they're from Museo. only because then that allows you to take them in a lance formation, and that looks cool.
Are there any other blood dragons except for the ones in Xeon?
Yeah, it's in the keep in the mountains in the Empire. The Templar keep they have there, because they have an entire order of undead knight of vampire knights that lives in the Empire, and they try to kill them all, and then they had some more vampire knights. So, you might be good at fighting. You are worthy of joining our ranks.
I think there's any. Do you think there are any blood dragon knights in Cathay? That'd be cool.
Well, they are pretty much a martial order. They, if they find someone worthy of joining, why shouldn't there be?
Yeah, because the guy, like the original blood dragon guy, like he was just riding around a lot, right? He wasn't really bound to a certain area.
Well, he started off with being the commander of the armies of Lamia and defending the city when it was attacked by the other Tomb King's cities. But yeah, he was a knight that was just riding around, challenging people, setting up small secluded orders of knights in the mountains, stuff like that.
Cool.
Drinking the blood of a dragon, raising a dragon, stuff like that. Maybe not last point, I'm not sure, but it would be cool. And I want to make a zombie dragon, so probably.
Yeah, dragons are cool. Yeah, it's like one of the main reasons I even started Dark Elves. So they can have dragons.
Speaking of dragons, I saw someone that's made a I call like a zombie dragon out of the new Archaean dragon.
The 3-headed one?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it has replaced it with I think 2 of the zombie dragon heads and a head from the Mortarch kit from the Dread Abyssal that's in that one.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's as usual when you see these things, you can't remember exactly where you saw it. So it's somewhere on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or possibly all 3 of them. That's all I can give you.
It's just a wild dream.
Yeah.
Now you must build it.
No, I don't want to buy an Archaeon. It's too expensive. Especially just for a conversion for fun that I will never paint.
Oh, I've been sitting all day painting these guys. It's taking way longer than I thought.
Well, they're quite detailed.
Yeah. So I'm painting, let's see, like 25 guys now in one go. And first of all, there was a lot of brown to paint. Like their hats and rifles and pouches and boots. It's like half of the model is brown. And I thought it would be easy because you don't have to be that careful painting just brown. But it took like 3 hours. Sanity.
Yeah, that's usually the ones that takes the longest to paint. When you sit down and think, this shouldn't be too hard. And then 900 shades of brown later.
Yeah. Once I painted the gold now, I'm just gonna slather them in brown wash. Just make them dirty. I don't know what's worse, painting the block colors or doing the highlights later.
Yeah, that depends on if you spill your wash or not. I think
at least the highlighting, you can they look good afterwards. When you just paint the block color, you just look sloppy.
Yeah, I think the worst enemy of our painting is ourselves. When you just get to that point and you just realize there's so much more to do, but they're pretty much done.
Yeah, fucking hell. When you painted all the block colors, just they look painted. They look terrible, but they look painted, and then you just have like as much to go after that.
Yeah, that's how this. That was how I felt with the endless spell I painted. It's I just get to the point where I realize I need to highlight these skulls, and since I've done an effect on the because I did them to be a aged copper bronze color, so I just had to I need to highlight these, then I need to shade them, then I need to highlight them, then I need to add some turquoise so I can get like a verdigris effect. And then I have to highlight them again, and then I have to blend the effect so it doesn't get too sharp.
Yeah.
It's just that's it's interesting sometimes.
Yeah. Painting is always a mix of it's a chore and pleasure. I mean, I do like painting, but some paints are just like, wish I had the remote control from Click.
Yeah, but then you just end up realizing your entire life has passed you by and you have never played a game because you want to just fast forward through the paint bits.
Yeah. Fast forward to next army.
Yeah, losing 4 years in one go. Yeah, but that's what I'm doing. I'm doing Blood Dragons, which is interesting. Well, it's interesting for me at least. I'm also magnetizing bases, but that's less interesting.
For the Blood Dragons as well?
Everything needs magnetized bases.
But what are you putting them in?
Huh?
Are you just for a movement trace, or are you putting them in an magnetized army case?
I'm I got a magnetized armor case. I got one of the A cases, I think it's called. But I'm magnetizing. I'm making magnetic movement trace, and every miniature gets a magnet in the base, so it can fit on movement trace. Which is a great deal with me having sorted my driver's license, is that I can actually use the signs that you put on your car for when you're practice driving, and just using those as the basis for movement trace. But I'm making magnetized movement trace. I'm making magnetized bases, and they would probably have a magnet either possibly on the side of the movement tray, or I'm just using the magnetic sheets or the metal sheets for my for my armor case to store the miniatures and then take them out, put them on the movement trays on the table. Yeah, sometimes I feel like just getting models to rank up is an entire hobby of itself.
Yeah.
Just have to sort it out. Yeah, but making your own trays are quite nice when you have special requirements for them. Otherwise, I would love to have been able to just buy them.
Yeah, I don't need to. I think I have to get some more for my my Dark Elves, actually. Custom movement trays. I've been using like my dwarf ones right now, but some of them are not optimal. Like the cavalry, I'm putting on like the big movement trays, 8 of them, but that like they overhang on the back edge. They don't really fit. They kind of fit, but they don't.
Yeah, it's but also, do you base your movement trays, like the edges?
So the ones I use for my dwarves, they're the regular Games Workshop ones. I have not based those ones. I just painted them, like I spray painted them black and then airbrushed them like a flat earth color. So they used like brown. So they mix up in with most armies. But the ones I have for my Kisselites are like based, the corners and the edges.
Fair enough. Mine will be just flat black, because then I see them as an extension of the base edge, and all my base edges are flat black. So that's my reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I think it's fine as long as you don't have like too big of an edge on the movement tray.
Yeah, I've seen some that's the MDF ones that have like half a centimeter or more. Yeah, like a base edge, and that's a bit too much for me, at least.
Yeah, the thing I like with the approach I took with my dwarf movement trays is like that flat earth. It's just so like it blends in with everything. So it's also good like when you remove models from the movement tray, you just have like that flat earth underneath, so it doesn't look weird. Like when you have like a whole movement tray that's like a different color from the tabletop.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, both black and straight gray ones have that same problem when they just look a bit off when you remove models. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But since mine have magnets in a magnet sheet inside them, it will look odd anyway because I won't paint the magnet sheet. It's just
Same with Mike, just because of moving trace. Because they have the magnet sheets as well.
Yeah. Also, I was just picked one of the skeletons up and looked at it, and the leg fell off. So that's fun.
Called the Necromancer.
Yeah, I should just stop using those legs and just balance it on this cloth bit instead. Just having it. Yeah, this one has already lost his leg. Maybe replace because I need to make a raised skeleton unit as well, or just raised skeletons that have just swords instead. And maybe one of them.
Put a leg on a base.
I was thinking putting a leg instead of a sword. Possibly either he's using his own leg to fight, or he's using someone else's leg to fight, which is even worse for the other ones. Yeah, I mentioned these are a bit brittle and fall apart when you look at them, but they're great models. They look they have an unearthly jarring movement. They have a really nicely designed armor that looks ancient, and which is perfect if you're using them for fantasy as well. Because well, obviously I am, but they look like they're not just like empire skeletons raised, or just like the old skeletons that were just bare skeletons with a weapon.
Yeah, I really like their helmets.
Yeah, and they look like they were raised from some ancient battlefield.
Yeah, remind me a bit of like from Lord of the Rings, the Warriors of Dale or something.
Yeah, the surprise I got the ghost army now kind of deal. Oh wait, Dale.
No.
You mean in The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Ghost Army, which also have that bit of a more ancient-y look kind of armor on them. And it's nice to not just have like regular skeletons or regular skeleton on horses with the spear. That just is the regular look for it.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
I also have 40 zombies that I need to build sometime.
Oh, nice. So new ones as well? The root zombies?
Yeah. But they can be derooted, so to speak. But that depends on... I'm not sure. It depends on what kind of a bit of a headcanon I make up for my army in the end. Because it could look like the necromancer was passing by and found regularly used cemetery in a village somewhere and just raised the entire cemetery.
I think whatever you do will look cool, Chris.
Hopefully.
No pressure.
Yeah. I could just paint them whites and blues and put some snow on them, so they literally look cool.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually made like an ice-themed undead army. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I bet. And it's also, at least in the Warhammer sense, a step away from the dark Germanic forests or deserts that are usually the undead themes of the old world.
Yeah. So this entire time we've been talking, I've been painting this brass. Now I'm like a third of the way through. Finish today. Gonna finish today. Not gonna finish tomorrow. Maybe by the end of this week.
Yeah.
I usually paint pretty fast, but holy shit, this is taking some time.
Yeah, but that's how it is sometimes. You just get stuck in a project and just can't really decide on when to stop.
Yeah, but I should be grateful. Westerns are great models, and it is a privilege to paint them.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I'm thinking of that I need to finish basing my Black Knights today so I can prime them hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
If the weather approves, so to speak. It's still winter here, and today we've had temperatures slightly above and slightly below freezing, alternating all of the day. So it's been interesting because I actually went out driving earlier to get our dog somewhere else to the in-laws, and it was there wasn't that much traction on the road, so to speak.
Yeah. It's been snowing and then melting and snowing and melting for the last weeks. Terrible.
When you're sitting in a car and that weighs a bit over 2 tons and it just decides to go a bit sideways when you know that you can't do anything, because if you overcompensate, you end up in a ditch.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah, but you've been painting. I've been hobbing a bit, mostly ruining things, it seems. But the leg's attached again, so let's hope it stays like that. And we've been chatting a bit about the hobby tonight, in general, it seems. And I do hope people have been enjoying it so far. And I'm thinking we're actually going to call this an episode.
Right, we're going to call it there.
Yeah, I think that should be a good one, and I hope everyone has been enjoying it, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.